Hello everyone, and today we'll take a look at something interesting. This is the Muse M5 Ultra, and this is probably the most affordable, Bluetooth and DAC device with a vacuum tube. You can see here, there is these two things that's glowing, and this is actually the vacuum tube lights. This is very similar as what you get in the Cayin. So this is very interesting. I mean, this costs like, I think 400 Sing dollars, and it is both a DAC and also a Bluetooth receiver device, so you can actually use Bluetooth to connect to it and listen to music while have the ability to activate the tubes or in solid state mode. And there's also filters and stuff. Of course, this is an affordable device, but still, it's very well designed. I mean, look at this. It even has an LCD to tell you the status, shows you the chip, shows you the tube, and what's not. So I'm very interested to try it out to see just what does it deliver for its price. Is there anything that was given up? So I'll do a few tests today in this particular first look. So first I'll do an initial impression where I listen to it both in the tube mode and in the solid state mode to see what's the difference there. Followed by a little bit comparison with the tube mode on the Cayin N3 Ultra, which is the closest I can get. And then followed by, in solid state mode, I'll compare its Bluetooth output. I mean, that is just to purely see whether as a Bluetooth device, does it sound good. And I'll use different devices to compare with it, and this will give you a rough idea on how the Muse M5 Ultra will work out. So without wasting time, let me do a very quick listen for this device here. So I did an initial test with the U12T, and the device itself sounds okay. I mean, it doesn't sound anything wrong. It sounds a bit more neutral with a hint of warmth. And I did notice that the only difference when you go from vacuum tube mode versus solid state is I would guess, a slight increase in focus and body when you actually enter into the tube mode. And then when you go out of tube mode, it feels a little bit more relaxed. And really, that's about it. I mean, the sound itself is okay. It feels very balanced. It doesn't feel like it's mid-focus or anything. It just feels like a balanced sound with a hint of warmth. So it's more on the slightly warm side of sound, at least based on what I heard so far. In the bass, the high seems normal. Nothing stands out. And I would say as the overall quality feels maybe same as its level or even higher than its level. I mean, this is a bit complicated to review. I can of course take some dongle and compare, but based on what I heard so far, I think that it is a comparable sounding device compared to most other dongles, with the ability to switch to tube for that additional body and warmth and focus in the mix itself. Very slight though. This is one of the smallest difference when I go between tube and solid state, because on the Cayin I can actually hear a huge difference, significant difference. I mean, while this one is just a very slight shift. Very interesting. So I'll be comparing this with the M5 Ultra in tube mode. I will see which is the closer one, modern or classic, and then I'll tell you what's the difference between both of them. So I compared both these devices, the N3 Ultra in modern and classic tube mode versus the M5 Ultra. First, I'll say as the M5 Ultra sounds like the modern tube mode on the Cayin, which is a little bit more bigger sound, overall a little bit smooth, but don't have that very weighty tube-like sound in the the focus and the mix itself. So the M5 Ultra actually sounds very similar to the N3 Ultra from Cayin in modern tube mode, like really similar. So similar that if I was doing it as a blind test, I may not be able to discover the difference. The only very small difference between both of them is the slightly more body on the Cayin itself. It is just a little bit heavier in sound. And that's really about it. I cannot tell the difference between the soundstage. It sounds very similar. I cannot tell the difference between its timbre, other than the weightiness of the sound. I can't tell a difference in its bass nor its highs. So the sound itself is really close when it comes to modern tube mode. So then I heard it in classic tube mode on the M5 Ultra. Okay, So then I heard it in classic tube mode on the N3 Ultra, and there is a significant difference then. Vocal starts to become more focused and the whole mix become significantly heavier and smoother. So I think this is where the N3 Ultra is slightly better because it has that additional classic tube mode, while the M5 Ultra, at least I cannot find, you just only go VT and TM, which I believe is vacuum tube, and solid state mode, and then there is no things that can change. I mean, the filters can change, but they are usually about the decay and the DAC stuff, not so much of the tube rendition. So this is the difference between both of them. Now, this means that the M5 Ultra from Muse is actually really good, because the modern tube mode in the N3 Ultra Cayin is where I usually like to listen my music, the configuration, not so much of the classic mode. So the M5 Ultra, it is really good because in its tube mode, it is the modern tube sound from the N3 Ultra, and that is the version that I prefer. At least for me, I think this is a winner when it comes to just being a DAC with a tube itself. So now, I will switch to looking at Bluetooth, and for that, I will compare with my Aroma Air. I'll take it in and then do a comparison to how the Bluetooth module within the M5 Ultra work. Now, I'm an Apple user, so I will use AAC. AAC is very well implemented on Apple phone, but it really depends on the device manufacturer implementation. So comparing both of these devices, the M5 Ultra versus the Aroma Air, I'll just say that at least for the purpose of utilizing it with an iPhone, the Aroma Air is just superior. It is, I would say, it's more airy in sound, bigger in sound, smoother, and less tensed up. It's more relaxing and really very well rendered. While the M5 Ultra feels a bit more like sluggish, if you want to compare to the Aroma Air when it comes to Bluetooth mode with iPhone. And this is not just sluggish, it feels like the whole air is a bit lost, feels a bit like compression, not very well done. And the overall sound signature itself just feels, it has a more body because of, especially in the vacuum tube mode, it does have more body. But it just feels like it lacks energy. It's like slower and less energetic. It is a very interesting thing. Now, this is not very similar to what I heard in other Bluetooth device when compared with the Aroma Air. When I compare other Bluetooth device with Aroma Air, it's always a case of whether is it just size of soundstage, big and small, but energy level do not drop. But when I compare both of these devices, I find that M5 Ultra do drop significantly at energy level. So I'm not too sure. At least I feel if it comes to the Bluetooth point of view, I will still use the Aroma Air. It is just a superior device. It's a bigger sound, lighter, and more clear, and overall more energetic, and so much more effortless when it comes to the sound itself. But when it comes to the cable connection, however, if I was comparing it with my N3 Ultra from Cayin, it is very close. In fact, so close that maybe just the M5 Ultra will do, and just connect it with some device like your phone or something. So to just sum it all up, I think the M5 Ultra, for its value of about 400 plus Sing dollars, is fantastic. Like, really fantastic. 400 plus Sing dollars, or about 250, 260 USD. This is value for money. It really gives you that tube sound, at least when compared to the N3 Ultra, the modern tube sound. Not very tubey, not very solid state, but somewhere in between. It is a very nice, enjoyable sound itself. And if you compare to something of twice the price like the N3 Ultra, this is value for money. It's half the price. Of course, it doesn't have the whole DAP component. It's just a pure DAC with the M and stuff. But you get the sound itself. And your tube with its capability is really something unique. However, when it comes to Bluetooth, well, if you can buy the Aroma Air, I think it is better. At least that's for me. I really feel like it is better. But to be fair, the Aroma Air costs more than 2 times its price. It even costs higher than even the N3 Ultra from Cayin. So I'm not too sure the Aroma Air is a good comparison. But for what it does, at least, I think it's fantastic. It's a very good piece of equipment. Well done when it comes to the DAC and tube mode. But I would say as Bluetooth mode, maybe I have to compare with a cheaper Bluetooth device to really see where its value stand. But I don't have one now. The only one is the Aroma Air, and definitely the Aroma Air is better on that. And this is about it. This is the M5 Ultra from Muse, and if you are intending to use it in DAC mode with the vacuum tube, I think this is like the best value for money you can get. A very modern tube sound, which I would say is very nice and useful for especially modern songs like pop and stuff. Give you that slight body and smoothness while without compromising details and clarity. That's about it today. I hope you enjoyed this short little first look of the Muse M5 Ultra. I'll see you guys again. Bye bye.